was like, it's a big 40 minutes.
This is a group of world leaders, including UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, French President Emmanuel Macron, and Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte, apparently caught on a hot mic making fun of Trump. And while they don't mention the American president by name, there are a few minor tells. For example, they refer to being late because of a 40-minute press conference, and Trump's own remarks with the NATO chief, which were slated to last 20 minutes, ended up lasting 53 minutes as Trump rambled on about, among other things, what else but how unfair it is that he's being impeached. Trudeau also goes on to say that the person's team's jaws dropped to the floor, although we don't hear exactly what he's referring to. Now, something tells me if the choice was between the Estonian Prime Minister and Trump saying something that's going to leave his team slack-jawed, there's probably not a lot of doubt as to who it is. Now, keep in mind, they're talking about the guy who said that during the Obama era, the whole world was laughing at us.
Because our country is going in the wrong direction. Our dollar is being devalued. The world is laughing at us. They think we're stupid.
And now that Trump is in office, we apparently have the respect of the entire international community again, which is clearly the case. Now, when confronted about the video, Trump lashed out at Trudeau, calling him two-faced.
Well, he's two-faced.
Do you think that Germany is too naive?
And honestly, with Trudeau, he's a nice guy. I find him to be a very nice guy. But, you know, the truth is that I called him out on the fact that he's not paying 2%, and I guess he's not very happy about it. I mean, you were there, a couple of you were there, and he's not paying 2%, and he should be paying 2%. It's Canada, they have money, and they should be paying 2%. So I called him out on that, and I'm sure he wasn't happy about it, but that's the way it is. Look, I'm representing the U.S., and he should be paying more than he's paying, and he understands that. So I can imagine he's not that happy, but that's the way it is.
And aside from the characteristic personal attack on Trudeau, it's telling that Trump is so held up on other nations paying 2% of GDP into NATO's defense budget, considering he's actually hurt NATO at every turn. Since its inception, NATO has been predicated on the collective defense of its member states in the event of a possible attack by Germany or the Soviet Union. Over the last 70 years, NATO has gotten stronger and stronger, with membership growing from 12 countries to 29. And while Russia has remained intent on weakening the alliance, it wasn't until Trump took office that Putin's efforts finally started to bear fruit. Since becoming president, Trump has called NATO obsolete. He's threatened to pull out of NATO altogether. He's failed to commit the US to NATO's Article 5, which says that an attack on one ally is an attack on all. When Russia violated the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces, or INF treaty, rather than craft a more robust response, Trump opted instead to pull the US out of the treaty altogether, which again strengthens Russia and hurts NATO. And look, while there is absolutely merit in Trump's complaint that other countries aren't yet meeting the 2% goal, the strength of NATO isn't derived solely by money. You could argue that Trump's rhetoric has actually hurt NATO more than any lack of full funding could by casting into doubt the very efficacy and future of the alliance. Then again, that would mean actually convincing Trump that money isn't everything. But lashing out at Trudeau wasn't the only step that Trump took after getting humiliated. He then decided to cancel his remaining press conference. He tweeted, "When today's meetings are over, I will be heading back to Washington. We won't be doing a press conference at the close of NATO because we did so many over the past 2 days. Safe travels to all." And while Trump's behavior at these international summits is always disappointing, it's never surprising. From Trump barreling his way through world leaders to stand at the front of the pack, to getting laughed at the UN when he tried to claim that his administration has done more than any administration in history.
In less than 2 years, my administration has accomplished more than almost any administration in the history of our country. America's so true. Didn't expect that reaction, but that's okay.
Trump turns himself into the laughingstock of the world every single time he appears on the international stage. And this latest NATO summit, as expected, was no exception.